the hell is that? They aren't airplanes. Are they? Maybe they are. Look at that. What are they doing? There's two of them. There's the other one right there. I think right there. There? No. There? No. There. They're refueling or something. Tonight is supposed to be the blood moon. It's supposed to be red moon, but red moons and prophecies and all that stuff is not going to stop us from working on the Repsol Dio. And it is kind of late. The bike does look like a kind of a mess. I do this every year. This is the fun part about the bike, is that I don't have to just bring it out, put gas in it, and drive it. I play with it every year, and that makes it fun. It's like the movie Building a Faster Indian, where that old man in Australia built that at 200-mile-an-hour race bike by just working on it. First thing I like to do is replace the coolant in my water-cooled radiator. It doesn't hold very much, but what I do when I get the bike out, I realize that the cold weather will make your tires inflate and deflate, and you'll lose air. Air density just causes that for some reason. So what I like to do, especially with this bike, it makes so much noise, rattling and everything, which is fun, is I will go and I check the hose clamps right here. It is getting dark, so my light isn't working that well. I have these are called hose clamps in America, or Jubilee clips, I believe, in Europe. I heard that last year. That's a cool name. What I like to do is the hose clamps nowadays compared to the 60s, they suck. They suck the big donkey. You know what I mean? The metal is so cheap on them that you go to try and get a grip and they strip. So what I like to do is use two. I use two here, well I use one there, but on the pump right here, and that's a cool blue pump, I use two here and two small ones here. That way, if one of them happens to rattle loose, then the other one won't. So I go back, like today, first in spring, it has been run 6 months, and I'll take the screwdriver and I will turn them. I've already done this, but they'll turn a half of a turn just to tighten them up, because that's what they do. Then I check my head nuts right here and give them each a half a turn, and then I'll put on my castle nuts, which are right here. I use castle nuts to lock down the big head nuts, cylinder head nuts. And the reason I don't use Loctite is because sometimes you can get Loctite on here and you'll go to try and spin this off, and what it'll do is it'll spin the whole rod off down here in the block, and that won't do you any good. Especially with these big motors, you don't have a lot of aluminum meat to hold those. So I don't use any kind of tightener or a glue on up here. Now then what we do is, I've already drained last year's coolant, and you really don't have to do it, but I like to do it. There's a couple of reasons. One thing is, I drain it and I look at it, and it's got dirt in the bottom. This is an old cat pan, so that's not from the motor. But I like to look at the coolant and see if there's any kind of contamination in it, like oil. There should be no oil in it. If there's oil in it, or any kind of carbon, then I know that the exhaust somewhere right here is leaking into the water jacket, and that's not good at all. So what I use, I just ordered this in. This is a Repsol coolant and antifreeze for motorcycles, as you can see right here. It's probably the same stuff you can buy anywhere, but they just put it in a different bottle. But it says Repsol, and that says Repsol, so it's cool. Alright, next video on making this Dio scream.